All right, Dr. Obiorah Oti, National Vice President, Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents, is joining me right now virtually. Good morning, Dr. Oti, and welcome back.
Okay, good morning, Nancy.
You know why I'm laughing this morning. So welcome back on the
Okay,
program. Now let's get started. Let me
thank you.
start. Let me start by asking you, really, do you have an idea of how many mobile money agents we have in Nigeria? Let's start from that premise. How many of your people are servicing us, and perhaps financially including the financially excluded in Nigeria?
Okay, I think this question came up last time, and I gave
Oh,
you an answer.
okay. I can't remember that. But go ahead.
Okay, um, we are right now trying to find a more definitive way of gathering fresh data about that is concerning the mobile money and the agency banking space. But presently, if you go to our website, Amban website, you will see some of the figures there. So presently, we will have recorded over 500,000 mobile money and agent bankers in Nigeria. But we know that if you go to the field, we have over 1 million people that are actively engaged in the business of mobile money and agency banking. So
Wow. Okay. Dr. Oti has disappeared on me. That's his network. Let's try to reconnect Dr. Oti, and I hope that the network doesn't really, interfere with us so much this morning. Dr. Obiorah Oti is the National Vice President, Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria. This discussion is really very important this morning, especially as I've also heard instances and a situation of naira scarcity, banks rationing the naira supply to people. I would really have wanted his opinion on that. Is Dr. Oti back?
it's like there is a bit of network challenge
Okay, okay,
somewhere.
okay, Dr. Oti, I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Okay. So I said that right now, one of the key projects we have on hand is to be able to get the total actual number of active participants in the mobile money and the agency banking space. But in our repository, in our database, we have over 500,000 registered mobile money and agent bankers already. But we know that if you go out in the field, we have over 1 million practitioners, already within the field that we have not captured within our database. So
Okay.
one of the projects we have for year 2024 is to make sure that we get all the information about all these agent bankers, wherever they are operating within Nigeria. And
Okay.
we believe that we can get at least 2 million persons within our database.
Okay, let me go right in to ask you the question which I mentioned earlier. I would like you to speak to me about the state of Naira supply from your own perspective. Because we're getting information that there's seemingly Naira scarcity, though the Apex Bank has come out to say that's not true. The Apex Bank has also said old notes, the 200, the 500 and 1,000 naira notes should go side by side with the new notes. The Supreme Court has has okayed that from the Central Bank of Nigeria. So speak to me about this. Is that really naira scarcity?
Yes, just like you said, the CBN has done a lot. They have tried to make sure that information is disseminated to different banks and the financial institutions so that everybody will know that the Supreme Court has vacated that ruling concerning the usage of the old naira. Then also, the Apex Bank has tried in terms of making sure that the currencies are released to the members of the public. They have really done well. But the truth about it is that we that are on ground, we know that there are cash challenges here and there. Our members have reported both in the north and in so many states within the south that accessing cash has not been so easy. And though a lot of our people are, finding a way to collaborate with financial institutions that will help out in that way. But from our national office and our state office, we are equally trying to make out a makeshift arrangement to make sure that our members really don't have a lot of challenge. Because as it is now, even though banks will tell you that they have cash available, but when you go to the branches of many of these commercial banks, you will discover that it's not as easy as they are talking about. Yes.
What exactly is the issue when you interface with the banks? What do they say is the issue? Because
Um,
the Supreme Court and the CBN has given a go-ahead that both monies should go side by side. The Apex Bank says, of course, there is supply. They've pumped money into the system. So I'm wondering where this scarcity concern is coming from. Is it coming from the banks? What is your own sense of it? Or is it that members of the association too are hoarding the money? Like we saw during the Naira redesign days. Yes, we saw during the Naira redesign days. Was it early this year? Okay, from
no,
December
no.
of last year.
Let me interject at this point.
Okay.
What our members are actually doing is they are doing everything possible to source out cash
How
to
are they
enable them
sourcing
to
it? Because you
service.
people, you don't
Now,
print now. Do you print Naira? You don't print
before
Naira
now,
now.
no, before no, we don't. Definitely,
Yes.
we don't.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before now, there has been certain strategic alignment with retailers like petrol stations, like supermarkets and all that. So our members do what they can. Depending on the limit, you can manage the risk to evacuate them. All you just need to do is, provided you have liquidity, you credit them and you collect the cash and go and do your work. But as it is now, our members in various parts of the country has reported that some of these people would rather sell the cash to you than just release it to you for you to go and work with, and they credit them. Because the win-win situation here usually is giving them ease of making that deposit to the bank. Because instead of them now to arrange security, to arrange staff that will take the cash to the banks. Our members will just go there, arrange with them, do the necessary posting, and then collect the money. But when you go there now, they will tell you that they don't have cash. As soon as immediately they notice that you are not willing to pay certain amounts to be giving the cash, they will tell you that they don't have cash, and there is nothing you can do about it. So these are challenges we are having. It
So,
is
so,
not
so is it?
linear. It's not a linear observation. It depends. It's scattered across different places based on different levels of shortage.
So is it that when your colleagues, so when your members of your station go to retailers, even the traders in the market to get monies, these people, before they hand those monies to you, do they request for a charge?
Some of them request that you buy the cash. It's not something that I can easily tell you that this person is doing it, because based on certain things, some of the members that are reporting this thing will not be willing to tell you that this is only the particular retailer that told me that I have to pay so and so for cash. But these are realities that we have observed that are on ground. Then another thing I will have to point out here, because in my personal research to find out what exactly is the situation, I have noticed that a whole lot of people still that don't have accounts with financial institutions, especially those that are engaged in farming and other agricultural activities. So they are selling their produce as we speak now. So when they make sales, they don't go to the bank to make deposits. What they do is they keep the cash with them, and that is another way of holding cash and making it scarce for the members of the public to use.
Hmm. What is this thing that is really going on right now about POS failed transactions and how some of the operators of POSs defraud Nigerians? I don't know, you must have seen a lot of videos online talking about
Yes,
debits.
I've seen
Yes,
that.
or they will debit a customer, it doesn't go. The POS operator now defrauds. I know of a situation, I think was it last year, a POS operator was jailed, I think, for 97,000 naira failed transaction or so. So speak to me about this and how your association is trying to check it, because this is a festive season.
Yes, we have seen a lot of cases like that. There are a lot of fraudsters that are infiltrating the industry. And one of the things we have on our table right now, because the association just had new crop of leaders. So one of the things we have on our table now is to make sure that we stamp out all these fraudsters that are, infiltrating the system. One of the ways we have been trying to do that is to enlighten the members of the public and particularly train our members. Then another direction we want to go is to make sure that we sanitize the system so that those that are not expected, supposed to play within the space, do not come in. Then the case of fraudsters, masquerading as mobile money agents, or even certain persons that are actual mobile money agents trying to defraud unsuspecting members of the public. We've seen several things like that. But if we notice that somebody that is a member does something like that, we have disciplinary measures that will give out to such persons, including handing them over to the police when we notice that a crime has been committed
At
along
least
the line.
this one will be within the people you control and you regulate. You mentioned earlier that if you take like latest data, you may have up to 2 million people that are operating in that sector.
There are a lot of
So
people.
you have over 1.5 million people that are not within your sphere of regulation.
Because this is our space.
Yes.
So we don't necessarily need to extend our disciplinary measures to people that are not within our association.
So how do
However,
we checkmate that?
because what they are doing is affecting our business, we will take it up with them through the necessary law channels. But there is even a more burning issue right now that we are looking at, which I want to bring up, if you may please. They recently released a directive from CBN on BVN and NIN.
On NIN, I raised it before.
1 to 3 accounts, and also the NIPS directive of
that was
disconnecting
yesterday.
SKSP,
Yes.
SSPs, and from the outward transfer system. So these are some of the issues now that are giving panic within our space. So now let me speak to
Go ahead.
Let me speak to the CBN directive. I know, you and I know that the CBN recently has a new management in place. And I looked at the document that gave this directive, and I saw that they were signed by Chibuze Fobi, the director of payment system, and Haruna Mustafa, the director of financial policy and regulation. So I've been following these guys for a while now, and I know that they are very smart guys. They definitely know what they are doing. And I'm sure the CBN knows how best to help make the Nigerian economy better. However, we that are the players on ground just want to plead with the CBN that there are some of the policies that we bring out that look very good, very well to help the economy, because this policy on BVN and NIN, the fraud issue we are talking about, if it is properly implemented, it will really help to a very great extent to curb fraud, to make sure that the issues of identity and all that we have all over the country will really be solved to a reasonable extent. But one thing we want to plead is that policies should be implemented based on the realities that we have on ground. If we follow fire brigade approach in trying to implement policies, what will happen is that there will be panic within the system, and the positive effect will become counterproductive at the end of the day.
Let's talk about this NIBS statement that came out. But I would need the clarity of it, because there's a lot of confusion, and I also see a lot of confusion even from the media.
This morning, somebody sent me a WhatsApp chat that, is it true that CBN has decided to close down OPay,
to
close down FanPay, to close? Yes, that's
people don't even know the difference. Yes.
Yeah, so now I have to, because what we do in our association, we do a lot of clarification, we do through a lot of light, on some of this. And NIPS is I know NIPS very well. I'm one of the facilitators in NIPS. I facilitate on digital financial services. So I
NIPS is a
understand how
payment gateway.
yes, a payment gateway.
Yes.
Now, the point is that NIPS did not say that the policy on it, the directive did not say that these institutions will be removed or that they will no longer be able to do transactions. What that directive said is that because of the CBN regulation, the necessary paragraphs have been quoted in that very document. That because of that regulation, that some of these institutions are not licensed to do
Money
outward transfers.
transactions.
Yes,
Yes.
outward, just outward, not inward.
Yes.
It's very specific. You understand? Now, the information out there in the public is that most of these people will be closed down. And if that information is not properly channeled and guided and more light thrown on it, you will now notice that it is going to affect financial inclusion very negatively because most of these institutions have really helped to deepen financial institutions far beyond what the traditional banks have done in the past.
Yeah, but many of these providers do not have banking licenses. And I think that NIPS was also so clear on that.
Some of them,
Do you, because you cannot take,
what gives,
yes, go ahead, please.
yes, what, if you remember the last time I was here, I actually hinted that truly some of the fintech companies are biting more than they can chew. I mentioned that. But some of them have been smart enough. NIPS did not include microfinance institutions
Yes.
as part of those that will be shut out of the outward transfer system. So most of these people equally have an arm of microfinance
Yes, they have
that they are
microfinance banking
leveraging on their
licenses.
license to run
Yes.
whatever they are doing. Now, some of these ones that do not have it, there is a way out, there is a caveat for them to follow. Now, if they have noticed that their activities have been affected as a result of this policy, all they need to do is to upgrade or find a way to collaborate and still make sure that they continue to serve their customers the way they are supposed to do it. But all we are just saying is that let the wrong information or the wrong signal not go out to the members of the public. Because several of our members and our agents, both the aggregators and the agents that play at the last mile, they all have concerns concerning this thing. You know, it affects them. Information that is not properly channeled out there in the public. Before you know it, all the persons that have these accounts we want to close them or move out the funds that are within the accounts and all that. So that would be a big problem.
So actually, there is no cause for alarm where there should be no alarm. And
No. There should be no cause for alarm. Okay, the one concerning the BVN and NIN deadline, which the CBN said for unfunded wallets and accounts effective immediately, and then for those that are funded, gave a deadline of March, I think March 1st. Okay, now the problem with that kind of situation is that if you put out that information to the members of the public, we know that the literacy uh, position of our country is still very low. A lot of people are still uninformed, ignorant, and all that. So we are not ripe enough to manage certain level of information. So I think what the regulator should have done is simple. Now, for accounts that already have BVN and the NIN, BVN sits with NIPS, NIN sits with NIMSI. So there will be a way of silently, without really trying to put out the information out there, inform these ones to do the proper validation that they will need to do. Then for tier one accounts that are just opened, if you check all the tier one accounts or wallets, there is none of them that don't have a phone number. Definitely each and every one of them has phone number. And with the phone number in them, before you register a phone number, definitely you should have your NIN. You know, they use their NIN to register your phone. So these informations are linked somewhere within the database. So what the CBN will do, because I know they know all these things, it's just that the way we manage information. Just get the necessary bodies that handle these things, then silently, maybe within the back end, do what they need to do. Then if there are exceptions, then the persons that own these accounts or wallets then have to be contacted. So that way now you are managing just a small portion of all the parties instead of just giving out the information. Especially now we are having challenges with cash, we're having different challenges even with security. Then you now put the panic so that people will rush to the bank. The banks are already overwhelmed as we speak, and they are not positioned to make sure that these things are properly done. Then there's another angle to it. There's another angle to it. Before now, there are front-end partners that have been enabled to do NIN transactions. If you want to be enrolled, they can easily enroll you. But I'm aware that by August this year, that they have all been disconnected from rendering that service. So if you just want to do NIN, maybe you go to the local government or you go to designated places in the state to do it. So by the time there will be a deluge of customers who wish to enroll or that have one challenge or the other, because part of the validation process that CBN talked about is they have to validate your date of birth, they have to validate certain specific information about you. If those information are not valid within the system, then there is a problem, which means you need to be set back to go and validate them.
Okay.
So these are challenges. And I have been a banker for over a decade. I've been training banking, I've been training bankers for a while now to know how these things will play out at the long run. Before you know it now, even those people whose information are perfect and complete within the system will be part of those that will queue up to get certain things straightened out.
Okay. Okay, I think we will leave it at that now, Dr. Oti. If time had permitted, I wanted to chip in a question around this conditional cash transfer of the federal government and how perhaps you and your members can be part of it in terms of financially including these people, because but
Yes,
there's no time for that. Okay, 30
no problem.
seconds.
I'm all yours anytime you want.
No
I will
problem.
always be
I think we'll take it on another day,
But
because
I hope the federal government will hear this so that they will at least remember that mobile money agents, we are all over the country. We are in different parts of the country. So everything that they want to do, that you remember that we are always there to serve.
exactly. I thought about it too, especially in the days of the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, where she was sharing money by hand, sharing money by cash. And she couldn't tell me on an interview when I asked her how much she had shared, and I was hearing different amounts of monies in my ear, and they didn't know that I was hearing them. Anyway, but I hope that with Dr. Better Edu, that things will change in that ministry. Thank you very much, Dr. Obiorah Oti, National Vice President, Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents, for at least giving us clarity on this NIP statement and issues around fraud, POS operators with fraud. So thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you, Nancy, for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye.